Trace Ridge Baptist Church was formed in 1978, and now in the year 2022, we have the opportunity to upgrade our facilities to continue the ministries that have been going on for these last 44 years. We have a couple of challenges in our facilities. One is from the outside. If you've ever driven up to Trace Ridge, you'll notice that it's hard to know where to enter. And that is because when the church was formed in 78, we were so confident that we were going to build a worship center out front that we turned the temporary worship building to the east, not facing the street. And so for the last 44 years, when people show up, they don't know where to enter the building. And of course, over the years, it's created some curb appeal problems. So we're proposing some facility renovations that will correct that outer problem by improving the appearance of the building and give us a new entrance that is facing Lake Harbor. Then when you get inside the building, another challenge we've had is the flow of people from one section to the other. How do you get from the worship center to the children's area to where the senior adults go, or back and forth? When you have two services, we don't have lobby space, so there's no place for people to go into to continue the fellowship, but also make room for another group to come in and worship. The proposals that we're making for the facility renovations should correct all of those problems to help us to develop lobby space and have a better people flow. We're fortunate at Trace Ridge in that our location on Lake Harbor is at the intersection of three counties, Hinds, Madison, and Rankin. People from all three counties can get to us easily. And because of that, even during COVID, we had 216 first-time guests who worshiped with us during a period when church attendance was way off. So we think the potential is here that God has given us a tool in this property and in this building to try to expand His kingdom, and we want to enhance that. The vision that Trace Ridge has for the future is that by the year 2024, we'll have 450 people worshiping here on a weekly basis in multiple services. The people who gather will be racially and socially diverse. There'll be an exciting and energizing atmosphere, and we'll be known in the community to value people and to value the people, the work that we do in that community to those people. Our resource center is a good example of something that captures our heart. We want to always be intentional about sharing the gospel, and as a result of that, we'd love to see 120 people make professions of faith and follow the Lord in baptism by 2024. Our digital ministry will continue to expand as people more and more seek out social contact through media with churches, and we certainly want to rise to the occasion. We'd like to see 60% of our adults and youth growing in their faith and serving in some capacity on a serve team. We'd like to see 70 children worshiping here each week and excited about coming back, and 40 students that are also growing in their faith and serving in weekend experiences. All of these are part of the vision of the church, and to do that, we think these facility renovations would help that. In this first rendering that's been provided to us by Southeast Church Interiors, you see that the front of the church there would have an entrance in the middle. The current little carport would be encased and double glass doors placed there. New windows placed all around the building that would be commercial grade windows to match those doors. About 12 to 15 additional parking places would be added right across the front. The fellowship hall, which has always sort of thrown people off because of the double glass doors that do face Lake Harbor, they would be shielded with a little wall to help people identify where we want them to come in. Inside, once you get inside, we would remove 3 of the offices and create a large lobby space that would be at the center. So when people come out of worship, they come into the lobby. If guests come to church for the first time, they enter at the lobby where guest services will greet them. There's an easy access to the kids area. There's easy access to adult growth groups, classes. From that one lobby, it'll be a central hub that the flow of people will be taking place inside the facility. We also want to do a modernization of all the spaces so that we have one continual flow of a look. Over the years, we have piecemealed things together with good intentions and with the resources we have. But because of that, it looks different in different parts of the building. Some parts of the building have black molding, some have white molding, some have brown molding, some don't have molding at all. They're different colors of paint. we want to modernize the facility so that when parents come here with their children, they look at this and they know that they are not only cared for, but we have indeed prepared for them. This project that we're proposing would be a total of $467,000, for which we would borrow $475,000. There's another $130,000+ worth of things that we would love to do if we could raise those additional funds. It would allow us to complete the second floor of the education building and also to redo our fellowship hall. But we're trusting that if that's in God's will for us, that donors will provide those finances. We also asked the architect to give us a master plan so that we would know in the future where buildings could be placed on the 14 acres of land that we have here. And you can see from this rendering, this bird's eye view of the property, that in dark gray are the proposed buildings for the future. That after we've done this facility renovation, that hopefully within 4 to 5 years we could build the new sanctuary that would be out front on the front lawn where the cross is that often displays the cloth of the season that we're in. But that lawn area would become the new sanctuary, and you can see where parking is along the front by the street and off to the east side of the building where people can most readily get into the new sanctuary as well as the other educational space. You'll see off to your left, which would be the west, a proposed new multi-purpose building that would allow for recreational activities and community events. And then behind that would be a brand new resource center where we could continue to serve people and provide them food, clothing, and hope, and the beds that we've been doing and the other things that God has been giving us the opportunity to do. So with this bird's eye view, we hope to be able to make plans for the future so that they all fit together as God gives us that opportunity. I want to share with you quickly a financial snapshot of where our church is. You notice here that the loan amount of $475,000, if we were approved at 3.5% for 20 years, which the bank we've been talking to initially thought was what was available, our monthly payments would be $1,840. Unfortunately, about a week and a half ago, interest rates went up, and so they could be as high as 5.2%. And so we have projected either extreme. We don't know where it might fall in between there, but if it's 3.5%, monthly payments would be $1,840. If it's 5.2%, monthly payments would be $2,353. You also see where we did a profit loss yearly comparisons for 3.5 years, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, the first 4 months. Remember, 2020 and 2021 were when COVID had struck and took our attendance down below half of what it had been, sometimes even lower than that during certain periods. But if you'll notice that every month we averaged $2,000 in the black, $2,000 in income more than the expenses that we had. That was in 20 and 21. But so far in 2022, we've also had the same average of just over $2,000 a month in the black. Our balance sheet summary as of April 30th, we have 3 accounts. One is called the General Fund, it's at Bank Plus. We have $186,875 there. In our designated account, which is money that people give for a specific cause, it's also with Bank Plus, we have $43,963. And in our money market, we have $100,335. So that brings up that we have total in our bank accounts $331,174. If you subtract the money that is already designated for other ministries, that's $43,864, of which $8,000 of that has already been given for our facility renovations. And you subtract the $100,000 that we maintain for a rainy day fund, which is just good planning for a family budget or a church budget. That leaves us cash on hand of $187,209. So one of our members said that for him, the question is, how can we have a faithful stretch, if this is God's will for us, without being a reckless leap in determining God's will. We don't want to recklessly take on more debt than we can handle, but we certainly want to make a faithful stretch to do the next right thing. And I think you can see, even from this financial snapshot, that it's within the capacity of our church to take on this kind of debt to do these renovations to our facility. I hope you will pray about your involvement in supporting this work and whether this is indeed is God's will. I think we need to answer three questions. The first is, will these facility renovations that we have presented, will they enhance our work to help us fulfill the mission of Trace Ridge? 450 people in Orshades, 120 baptisms, 70 children, 40 students, all of those goals that we have set by 2024. Will these enhancements help us fulfill that? The second question we need to ask ourselves before God is our response to this a reckless leap or a faithful stretch? And the third thing is, what tangible involvement will I have in making this a reality? In other words, what am I willing to give or to sacrifice in order to bring this about? I think for someone to vote affirmatively on this and to feel like that is God's will, we would need to answer all three of those questions within ourselves. We'll have a Q&A on Wednesday, May 18 at 10 a.m. in the morning, and another one at 6 p.m. in the evening. And then on the 22nd, Sunday the 22nd of May, we'll have our first round of voting at 10:30, opportunity for voting. It will be a private ballot. Members will be asked to sign their name. They'll be given a ballot. You cast your ballot in favor or opposed to the facility renovations. And a second opportunity to vote will be given on Wednesday, May 25th at two different times, 10 a.m. in the morning and between 5 and 7:30 in the evenings. And those votes will be cast at the church in the church parlor. I hope you'll be present for the Q&A this week, and particularly be praying that God will help us to discern what His will is specifically for these facility renovations.